Hi, and welcome to another edition of the USA Hockey Postgame Show. The U.S. men's team sealed its first place position in Group A and earned a bye to the quarterfinals with a hat trick from Phil Kessel, and the U.S. women's team is preparing for a semifinal versus Sweden. Let's get right to the action with analysis from Chris Peters at UnitedStatesOfHockey.com.
Hey, Cam and Harry, good to be with you guys again in another interesting day over in Sochi, another interesting result for Team USA with the 5-1 win. Maybe not the blowout people expected, but you got to give Slovenia credit. They've been better than anyone anticipated them to be in this tournament, and they very well could be a tough out in that qualification round. But at the same time, Team USA didn't have the best game, but they did get a good performance out of their top scoring line with Phil Kessel getting the hat trick, and Joe Pavelski putting up 3 assists, James Van Riemsdyk getting involved as well. That trio has worked well throughout the tournament. They were a big factor in the game against Slovakia in the first one. They were generating opportunities against Russia's very good trap in the game yesterday. And now against Slovenia, they get those 3 goals in a row. And certainly you have to look at the way that Kessel has played, the fact that he's been scoring goals, already 4 in the tournament, 7 points leads the Olympics at this point. Really just an outstanding performance from one of the top offensive players in the game. And then just the chemistry that he's been able to generate with Pavelski and what he already had with Van Riemsdyk from Toronto really seemed to carry over. And Team USA didn't look the best today. They did not have their A game, I don't think, but there were even times when they looked a little bit on the sleepy side. This line would come out, and it really only takes one shift to kind of change a little bit of the momentum and at least get the U.S. back to what they were doing. I think that line can really set the tone going forward in the tournament, and it's going to be huge to have that production. Scoring goals is not that easy in international hockey. You saw against Russia the trap that they employed, and both of Team USA's goals came on the power play. So when you have a line like that you can kind of go to in any situation, and you know that they have at least a really good shot to score, you're in really good shape. And that's going to come in handy in the quarterfinal. Team USA obviously very happy to be in first place in Group A and heading into the quarterfinals. So we'll see what happens, but for now I'll send it back to you guys in Sochi.
After the game, forward Ryan Callahan and defenseman Kevin Shattenkirk spoke to the media.
Yeah, we feel good. The confidence is there. I think the big thing in a tournament like this is you got to get better as the tournament goes on, and I felt we've done that. Not just winning games, but little parts of the games defensively. Our transition game, I think we've improved as the tournament's gone on. So that's your goal coming into it, and right now we're on track.
Especially with tournaments like this, where everyone makes it to the next round, to the elimination rounds. That's where it starts to become the real hockey. Teams start to really get their systems and their games in order, and that's where you start to see those Cinderella stories and those wins that maybe someone wasn't expecting. So we have to really be ready for anything that comes to us for whoever we play on Wednesday.
Hi, I'm Harry Thompson with USA Hockey Magazine, and while most of the attention today was focused on Phil Kessel and his natural hat trick, and on Ryan Miller, who came within 18 seconds of his second career Olympic shutout, I want to talk about the line of Paul Stastny, Blake Wheeler, and TJ Oshie, who provided a lot of spark and a lot of energy for the U.S. team today, especially when they needed it in the second period. Even though they were up 2-0 at one point, the Slovenians really seemed to have us back on our heels, and were peppering Miller with shots, and the momentum seemed to really swing, and you really kind of sensed that they were in a position to almost get a goal and would really change the momentum in the game. I think it was Wheeler who broke the puck out of the zone and was able to get it down deep, used his big body and his speed to cycle the puck down low, and they really seemed to take momentum away from the Slovenians and put them back on their heels. At one point, you kind of felt like the U.S. was actually on a power play because the Slovenians had packed all 5 guys down deep trying to withstand the storm. Seconds later, Joe Pavelski took a shot from the point that James Van Riemsdyk provided a great screen in front. The goalie made the save, and it went right out to Kessel, who scored his 3rd goal of the game. On their next shift, the line was back at it again. They were putting more pressure on the Slovenians, and Wheeler picks up the puck in the offensive zone, circles all the way around the offensive zone, and goes down in the corner, curls around, makes a beautiful feed over to Ryan McDonough, who one-times it to bump up the score to 4-0. You know, it was a really impressive performance from a great young player that has a bright future, not only in the NHL, but on the Olympic arena. Well, anyway, that's going to do it from here at the main media center. Back over to you, Cam.
Thanks, Harry. The main story out of the U.S. women's practice is that Julie Chu will be in action against Sweden. She was out yesterday with an injury, received treatment today, but Katie Stone confirmed that she will play against Sweden in the semifinal. Also, Katie Stone announced that Jessie Vetter will be the starter in goal. You have to assume that the women's team is ready to play. They've had 4 days off. They told me today they're eager, they're excited, and they're looking forward to Sweden. Well, that's going to do it for today's show. Be sure you catch up on all the USA Hockey news at olympics.usahockey.com. And don't forget usahockeymagazine.com for Harry Thompson's blog. We'll see you tomorrow.